Hi, I'm Terry Nienaber. I'm from the Langley Research Center, mechanical systems engineer. And I was asked to do an alignment, share my alignment speech or share my alignment with NASA with you. And, I was asked for an icon, something to put up behind me. And I immediately thought of this when they asked that. This is a picture that I have on my desktop. These two little girls were in the audience when I was giving a talk at my son's school, and I thought this was the perfect picture of what I want out of NASA. We're about this. We're about doing something big. We're about sharing that with others, and we're about service. And those are my three core things. They're the things that drive me. So the reason that this is so important to me, let's back up about 30 years. I grew up on a farm in a small town, 316 people, very small. I was a family of 9. I was nearly the caboose. My older brother Doug was about 14 years old, and he would drag me along out to the scrap metal pile. We'd pick out just the right pieces to go back, and he'd start cutting and welding, and pretty soon we'd have some toy or a ramp, to jump our bikes on. That was what we kept busy with when we weren't doing chores. And then on a rainy day, he loved his cassette deck. He had this old school-style cassette deck, and he'd record music off of the radio. We couldn't afford, to buy music. And he would pipe that throughout our basement when we were inside. He'd pick which speakers. He'd collect old car speakers, and he'd put those speakers up in different parts of the house, and he had a makeshift switchboard that he'd route it to. This was all at 14, so he had an amazing reputation in the town of being a tinkerer. And so he was my icon. He was this for me. Unfortunately, when I was 9 years old, Doug drowned. It was a really dark time for the family. I'm sure I overcompensated by trying to pick up the pace. I even remember preparing for his funeral, and I was trying to make a shadow box for him. And everybody was frustrated with me, and I couldn't understand, well, why wouldn't we want to do this? This is what Doug would do. And I would start one project after another, and everybody was always saying, why can't you finish a project? And so I had a lot of frustrating experiences. But along came mentors, little angels in my life. Enter stage left, Eddie Otto. Eddie was a family friend, and without any formal education or training, the guy could fix anything he threw his way, whether it be a circuit, a small engine, whatever it was. And so whenever we couldn't fix something with a blowtorch or welder, we'd call Eddie out there, and he'd go around, he'd diagnose the problem and have it up and running again. So I was right on Eddie's coattail. Eddie supplied that next spark. He kept the flames going, and ultimately he was about what I wanted to do. I wanted to enable things. I wanted to enable people, and his sharing that with me was what brought me here to NASA. And I've had countless people since then. So I always identify my next Eddie, my next Doug. I found those at headquarters. I found them at Goddard. I have them back at Langley. I'm always looking for that. Likewise, I'm always trying to look for somebody else to do that for. So I like to do the talks, and I like to particularly mentor younger engineers or people less experienced in whatever, whether it be younger or older. And I just want to remind everybody, this is why we're at NASA. Don't forget about this part of it. Don't get wrapped up in today's talks, today's issues. This is the future. So who are you going to be an Eddie for? Who are you going to be a Doug for? Who's going to be the next person that little girl could be standing up here in 30 years? Give them the same speech. That's what I'm about. Thanks.